Alright, Fernando Alonso here, out of car racing and being from Spain and that. Whenever I'm looking for a good classic car, I go to carandclassic.com. They've got over 35,000 cars and bikes for sale at any given time, and now they do online auctions with no buyer's fees. Personally, I've got my eyes peeled for a tidy Talbot Horizon. Aye, aye, aye.
Smith & Sniff is sponsored by Car and Classic.
Yeah, I do know Lewis Hamilton. He thinks I'm a knob.
I'm Richard Porter.
I'm Johnny Smith.
And this is Smith & Sniff, a podcast in which two friends talk about cars live in London.
Wow.
Well. Thank you.
That was stage 3 clapping.
That was.
Wasn't it?
That was high lift clapping.
That was good. High lift clap.
It's really good.
It absolutely was.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. The room is full.
We're here at the London Concourse.
We are. We've been let in, and I still don't exactly know why or how.
Because the tone was too high.
Yes.
And it needed to be lowered.
Yes. Noel Gallagher's tone lowering.
No.
Birds.
That's what I was saying to you before we came on about Noel Gallagher's High Lift Cams have got a new album out. Yeah. And I keep thinking it's called Council Skis, but it's not. It's called Council Skies, after where he grew up on an estate in Manchester. But I keep thinking, Council Skis, what would that be? It's to rent them.
Drain pipes.
Oh, right. Okay, right.
They're just fashioned.
Homemade.
They're just cheaply fashioned, quickly.
Okay, good. So, anyway, thank you ever so much for coming along.
And thank you to the London Concourse event for letting us in.
Yeah.
There's some sweet motor cars out on the lawn.
I should say preemptively, thanks for letting us in and thanks for throwing us out, which is what I assume is going to happen sort of
later.
Half an hour or so. I was going to start today with a small confession. For the last 2 years on our podcast and in real life, I've been boasting about something.
Oh, no.
I've been boasting about how reliable my Range Rover is.
It was inevitable. It was inevitable.
I think you know where this is going.
Has it shat itself? Of course it has.
Shat itself would be harsh.
Come on, what's it doing? Is it making some horrible clonking noise?
No, it's not. There's a vibration.
Okay.
Almost like, a wheel's gone out of balance, but rather than coming from any specific wheel, it feels like it's coming through
the drivetrain.
Yes.
Yes.
So, last weekend we were driving up to Manchester to see my brother, and it started doing it around Bristol, which is not very far from where I live.
Oh, did you have to make the decision of do we now?
Yes.
Did you turn back?
I think it's what military types would call a go, no-go situation. So we had a brief meeting in the front of the moving car, my wife and I. I said, I think there's something wrong with the car. And she went, is it that feeling that's coming through the floor? And I went, yes, I think it is. She went, well, should we turn around? I went, I don't know. So I slowed down and it went away.
Oh.
And we had another brief meeting. And I said, I think we should carry on. And she went, okay, let's carry on, because we had a weekend planned. And was all fine until we got to nearly Stafford. And then it got very bad indeed.
Is that William Willard's not familiar
Yes,
with that?
No, I was basically in Stafford. And it got all quite juddery. And we pulled off the motorway, we pulled into a country lane opposite a really zany antiques shop.
Yeah.
And when I got out, there was a very hot smell, and then a plume of smoke came out the rear wheel arch.
Oh, you had a plume?
A plume.
Oh, gosh.
And there's that brief moment, the kids were still in the car, there's that brief kind of, oh shit, it's on fire. But it wasn't. It was just letting me know that it might feel like going on fire later, as a Range Rover is entitled to do. So we got the breakdown people out, and the guy couldn't find anything wrong with it. And he went, take me for a drive and tell me when it's doing it. And I took him for a drive, and it didn't bloody do it.
Took him. Did you drive him to Manchester and leave your wife and children at the side of the road and go, shit, I've got here perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I've got
left
back.
the kids behind. So,
shit.
Yeah, but that's the thing. So we had kids, dog, whole family, weekend away, so it's a difficult thing. We went, right, okay. So my brother came and met us. He drove as our support thing. Again, it all got quite military, got a little bit Top Gun. He pulled alongside me on the M6 as I'm nursing the car back towards his house and just went, and I went...
Did you go?
Like fighter pilots. Yeah, I know, I should have done.
And then you just kicked it down and then a plume.
Yeah, plumes. No, it was good as gold. And we got to his house, but then it was this thing where we went, okay, don't entirely trust the car. I think it's the prop shaft.
Yeah.
I don't want the prop shaft to, for example, fall off on the M6 on the way home again. I've got my children and my dog and my wife in the car. Things I love. Not necessarily in that order, but things I love. And I thought, well, we can get home by some other means.
Oh, buy another car. It's a great idea.
It crossed my mind.
It's a great idea.
And I'll tell you why it crossed my mind.
Like a tender boat to the Range Rover.
Yeah.
Put it on an A-frame, jingle jangle.
Good news, dear. I've bought a crew cab recovery lorry. Should have owned one years ago. I mean, we've got an old Range Rover and a Fiat. Why would I not have got one in the house? But
I favour the beaver tail, just because I can say I own a beaver tail. It's not a chance you get to say that very often, is it?
now the problem is, last weekend, rail strikes.
Yes.
That's one problem. The second problem is it's 3 trains to get back to Bath/Bath, and we've got a dog and 2 small children. So in a way, I'd rather crawl back from Manchester. So I said, look, why don't we just hire a car? And then I remembered I'd left my wallet at home.
You left your wallet at home?
My wallet at home. Well, you just pay for things on your phone now, don't you? So I didn't have my wallet. And my wife went, well, I haven't got mine either.
What?
You can't hire a car without a driving license.
Walletless Range Rover drivers?
Well, I just assume that if I keep it in the Range Rover, it's going to get burned. So, well, my credit cards have got bite marks on them. Why is that? So I rang. The AA man said to me, he said, Enterprise sometimes let you hire a car without if they can look up your license.
Do they?
Well, let me tell you, yes, they do.
So you can hire a car without a driving license?
If you've got your license number, and I had a scan of my license, a very nice man, I'm not being paid to say this, but a very nice man at Enterprise at Manchester Airport let me hire a car, even though I had no driving license and no credit cards.
No frigging money?
No money. And I was holding a knife. But
no trousers or pants?
No trousers on as well, because they'd caught fire.
They got damaged in the fire. I don't want to talk about
incident.
Yeah.
But have a guess what car they give you if you go into Enterprise at Manchester Airport and say, please help me, I'm desperate.
What do we think?
Range Rover, yes. It's just have another one, sir. Roll the dice.
I'd love to say Vauxhall Signum because they've been out of production for some time. But
got one round the back they can't bear to get rid of.
I'm thinking, would it be an Insignia?
Good guess.
Yeah.
I should have extra information that I asked for a car that could fit. I didn't. I was standing there going, don't say dog, because they won't let you have a car if you say dog.
Yeah.
So I just said, I have 2 small children and a lot of luggage. And the guy went, okay, well,
including one that's breathing.
Big, hairy, smelly luggage. Well, no, because that's the thing. I said, we've got loads. We've been away for the weekend, but it's like kids. We've got loads of luggage. And he went, okay, well, a Focus? And I went, no, we've got loads of luggage. And he went, how many bags have you got? And I was like, 8. Yeah. And then he gave me the keys to a Dacia Duster.
Oh, sweet.
In gold.
Gold?
There's one learning from this, which is a gold car.
We had a proper ooh from that side of the room. Ooh, gold.
There's a coach outside with Dacia Dealer Away Day written on it. Now, because I felt like I was Steve Martin in Planes, Trains and Automobiles, because it was just, give me a fucking Datsun, fucking beauty. I just want 4 wheels and a seat.
Yeah.
And it turns out a Dacia Duster is that to perfection. And that's not a diss. It's a perfectly serviceable car, but it is like minimum car. It's just all you need to get from Manchester to Bath with a family and a dog.
And a breathing piece of luggage.
And a breathing piece of luggage. And a load of bags.
I'm not talking about DJ Khaled, by the way. So you know. I'm not being down on him anymore.
So that's what we did. And then the Range Rover was trucked back to a Land Rover guy near where I live. And he called me today, having been underneath it.
And he said,
I can't find anything wrong with it.
Seriously?
Yeah.
They're the worst.
He told me he'd been for a drive. in it and everything. In fact, his guy that he works with had been for a drive and it come back and gone, I can't find anything wrong with it. And so he'd gone, I'll take it out myself in disbelief. And then he rang me and he went, I'm sorry.
It must be like the handbrake got slightly left on a bit.
I just can't figure it out. So, in fact, in a way, you'll give me what?
£3,000 bargain.
£3,000.
3, yes, 3 of the grands for the Range Rover.
Okay, but there is a dog in it, by the way. So, he's going to have another look.
Of course he's going to have another look.
Well, it's in his interest to find the problem.
If you're not going to trust it, your wife's not going to bloody trust it.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? You don't trust a car that's...
No.
I don't know. So in a way, I'm saying my Range Rover's broken down, but it hasn't. Because
no.
a trained professional... Say again, sorry?
You're still boasting. It broke.
Yeah.
In a way, I'm boasting that I got away with it because apparently it's fixed. It did this before. The one-touch driver's electric window stopped being one-touch. Now it is again. It's a magic car. It mends itself.
Did somebody say ticking time bomb? I just drove down here in my Honda, which just doesn't go wrong. It's amazing. And it cost me £3,000 to buy the whole car.
Yeah. Well, apparently that's what my Range Rover's worth, according to Jim over there. So anyway, I have a broken Range. It's Schrodinger's Range Rover. It is both broken and not broken, and I'll keep you posted on that. But for the time being, it's still in the garage until they can find the fault.
Well, I was going to start this show by making sure we address a problem, and this problem has been sent to us in several DMs and letters about piss fisters. Okay. And we've got to sort this out. It's actually quite important. So a few people have gone, I don't understand what piss fisting is. And I went, I said, what?
Hang on, so...
I read this. This was 3 people DM me. What is this whole thing of piss fisting? And I went, I beg your pardon, what? No, never in my life have I mentioned piss fisting.
We all know what Johnny's talking about, right? His love of having an outdoor wee with a beautiful view.
Yeah, and let me tell you, in the last 4 days, I've done some
V-I-S-T-A.
So I've said, no, for the purposes of the audio translation, it's V for Victor, Vista, like a scene, a scenic, nothing to do with fists. No.
But also, when you've been saying on the podcast, I pulled over in a lay-by, what do they think you were doing?
Well, yes. What an amazing piss fister. No.
His name was Clive. He was from Runcorn. Drove a Scania.
I mean, seriously. I mean, for freak's sake, there's wrong uns and there's absolute wrong uns.
Well, I'm glad we've been able to
So I said,
that.
no, we need to stress this is piss vista, beautiful view at which one can rinse their kidneys in private, not in an obvious place. So I had to clear that up. And the second thing, I need to apologise to the people in the room, the audience, for... I've just gone into the toilet just before we... It's all right, it's okay, it's not a bad point. Just got into the toilet, and they've got Dyson air blades here.
They have, yes.
And there's 2 of them, that toilet out there, there's 2 of them. One of them says Mark II on it, and the other one just says DB. They're right next to one another, and I picked Mark II, because I had to pick one of them. There was a guy on the other one. And the whole floor was very wet. And the gentleman next to me was exceptionally old. So immediately, my senses were heightened. I almost went into military mode, ready to respond at any moment, in case he went down quickly. Secondly, what's DB and what's Mark II? Well, I know what Mark II is. It's the one after the Mark I. But what's DB?
Decibels. Decibels. It's a quiet running...
It wasn't, though. It was definitely...
Well, no, they never are.
I mean, it's just Dyson. They're lying.
This leads me neatly into a message that we had from one of our patrons.
Shoot.
I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. His message was entitled Skin Flute in a Dyson.
Okay.
He says, hi, Smith and Sniff. I spoke to you guys at the Morgan Live show and showed you my Dyson hand dryer catch can I had made. Now, this was a guy, he showed us pictures of his work. He'd created a sort of...
a cradle.
A metal fabrication that caught all the water that was being blown down by the Dyson so that elderly people didn't fall over and break their hips.
Yeah. It's also known as designing something properly.
Yeah.
In case anyone's under any illusion. Apologies if anyone... Does anyone work for Dyson in the audience? Good.
No, they slipped over on the way in, didn't
Good.
So it says, while I was testing some products a few weeks ago, one of my co-workers, who's in his 60s, had just taken a wee and went to dry his hands in the Dyson dryer. He then said, should I put my cock in it? Believing he was joking, I said, you won't. However, I was wrong.
What?
He then proceeded to get it out, and put it in the dryer and set the thing off. In his words, it blew the skin right back. I now tend to avoid this Dyson dryer, as it has been violated.
Was it like some sort of skin parachute effect?
I've just done a U.
What?
I've not read down the message before. If you guys decide to read this out in the podcast, I'd like to remain unnamed. Nobody say a fucking word and we can get away with this. I'll just edit it out.
What, are you going to bleep the name or something?
I'll just bleep no, I won't bleep the name, because last time I had to bleep someone's name,
Yeah.
there was that guy who was driving his brand new GR Yaris listening to the podcast. He thought the beep was coming from the car. There was something wrong with it.
Oh, and he called the dealer?
He ended up calling Toyota Assist, and they came out and looked at it.
Okay, so what's his name again? I can't believe that. Cannot believe he fed his dingling into a Dyson airplane.
I mean, we've been sent a few times that picture of one of those dryers with a picture of a gentleman's
phallus
thing with a line through
with a line.
it.
I mean, women would never do a thing like that because far too intelligent, right? You'd never. I mean, you obviously wouldn't put a penis in there, but I mean, you know, the equivalent of ish. You just wouldn't. You wouldn't even think. You wouldn't even think. Oh yeah, that. Should I just see what happens if I?
Would you like me to change the subject?
Yeah. Yes, please.
I saw a man in an MG4 the other day.
Okay.
MG4, quite a good car. Very good car, actually.
Yeah.
We both like the MG4, don't we?
Yeah, I dig it.
Good car. Striking looking car. And I saw one the other day, and I think it was pretty much brand new. Didn't catch the plate. In that very zingy blue colour.
Yeah.
Nice colour. Very strident, very pingy. On a
Very
sunny day. Very
futuristic.
modern, exactly. Futuristic. Now, this has got to be a brand new or near brand new car. There was a massive scuff down to the metal on the rear wheel arch.
The metal.
Well, it was silvery. It just went, ouch. And I looked at the face of the man who was driving it, and his face was annoyed.
Okay.
And I was like, has that just happened?
That's just happened.
I think that's just happened.
Yeah.
And then, for the rest of the journey, I just kept on looking at the faces of people in cars. So I was like, I wonder if everybody's face is reflecting what's just happened to them.
I bet you saw some krill sifters.
I saw some krill sifters.
I bet you did. I bet you did.
Saw some inexplicable smilers. Quite a lot of those, actually.
I've tried to do that. I've told you that, haven't I?
Driving and smiling.
Yeah, driving and
Your
smiling.
new hobby. But yeah, nothing would beat an elderly gentleman who looked right royally fucked off. And it's like, either he's just thought about something that's annoyed him, but mainly I think he's thought about what he's just done to his MG4.
And he's on his way home.
Yeah. He's got to tell his
And not
wife.
even the tea cut in the garage that's been there for 18
no
years. Not even
this
that.
was a proper kind of, he shaved the car down. Which, like, we were talking earlier on about Jackie Stewart having to get delivered to his hotel room in a Scorpio.
Yes.
And it's taking all the dado rails off in the Glen Eagles Hotel. Because
Down the corridor because he's in the end room and he just doesn't want to.
Yeah, I'm in the suite. Oh, I've got to go to the suite. I'm not walking. And he's contractually obliged to have a Scorpio take him there.
Yeah. Alistair did a good impression of...
Alistair does a very good impression of...
One of those golf buggies, because I was in America recently and I've realised that the golf buggy is just getting bigger and bigger, just like modern cars. They're getting bigger and bigger. Where's it all going to go? Then you realise the golf buggy over there is bigger than some of people's family cars over here. And like, well, this is now completely pointless because it won't go anywhere because it's too bloody big.
How was your trip to America, by the way?
It was great.
Sorry, talk amongst yourselves. I just forgot to ask Johnny's personal question.
Well, I've written a few observations down if you want me to talk about
I'd
them.
like to hear them, yes.
Yeah? Okay, I'll just turn the page. Hang on. Oh, no. The first thing I wrote down was the way Americans say car is interesting. Because there's lots of different ways of saying it. Some of it's like caw, like we would say a parrot would do this, or a rook.
Car.
A bird, yes.
Car.
Yeah, that.
Get in the car. Okay.
And then I wrote down Robert Duvall from Days of Thunder, because if you've ever watched Days of Thunder, which I'm sure you probably have, because it's a great film, better than Top Gun, what I would say, it is. It bloody is.
Not sure.
The lead character's called Cole Trickle. Come on. And the other guy, I forgot his name, Rowdy Burns?
Larry Burns.
Brownie Burns, I can't remember what his name. Anyway, Robert Duvall in that film, the way he says car is amazing.
Car.
Drive the car, Cole. Drive the car.
Car.
And then when he runs, he looks like he's got maybe a plop. Might have a dirty Swiss roll rolling down one of his legs, and he's trying to shake it out. It's a very odd run, and I don't know why he runs the way he runs, but it's very interesting. That's my biggest takeaway from that film. It's the way that Robert Duvall runs.
The London Concourse.
Yes.
Over £1 billion worth of highly prized and rare vehicles on display. And a man in the hall talking about whether Robert Duvall shat himself in Days of Thunder. It was the yin and yang of this event.
Yeah, so... Yeah, when I was in America...
Is this because in America as well, I struggle with the way certain car names are said, and particularly Hyundai.
Well,
it's a moving target over there.
It is.
Hyundai. Oh, you're having a seizure. Sorry, go on. Yes, other observations from America.
In Los Angeles, the panel damage on cars is like no other. Even Paris can't compete anymore.
Really? You think it's that bad?
Paris needs to up its damage game. Yeah.
I believe that's partly because people in LA are terrible drivers.
Well,
particularly when it rains. Because they don't know what to do, because it happens twice a year. I was once on a freeway in LA, and it started raining, proper rain. And of course, the road goes really skiddy and greasy.
Yes.
And there was a guy in a Toyota 4Runner behind me, and he didn't turn on his wipers at all. And I just thought, he doesn't know how.
Do you reckon?
I mean, they've got to still work. It's a Toyota. But he doesn't know where the switch is. It's a mystery to him. He knows where the cup holder is, and he knows how to use his phone while driving, while drinking a coffee.
Yes.
Because he's in LA. But he doesn't know how to turn the wipers on. And it was slashing it down. It wasn't just drizzle. It was properly coming down. And I kept looking in the mirror like, that dude can't see where he's going.
You know what it is? The UV over there has pretty much burnt away the wiper blades.
Oh,
so he just has metal rods that he's just... he knows if he turns on the switch, it was just scoring.
Just making the screen more opaque. Maybe that's it. I don't know. But yeah, there's a lot of really bad driving.
There's some appalling driving out there. But there's also an awful lot of lacquer lifting on paintwork. It's like American car skin cancer. I noticed, I went for a walk, and if you've ever been for a walk in Los Angeles, it's almost impossible. There's about 20 meters of pavement, and then it just stops. And they fully expect you to walk at the side of the road, like a walk of shame.
Yeah.
Like
there's just a gully into a river.
There's a gully, and you're walking in the oncoming traffic, like a homeless person would.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, I just want to go for a walk. I just don't want to drive at the moment, or I want to go out for a drink. So I was doing some walking in the road, and then I found some residential areas that I just thought I'd pointlessly walk around. And just noticing that the lacquer lifting was amazing.
But have you noticed people in LA, when they do go for a walk, they have to go somewhere specific, like a bit of mountain, and then they call it a hike. They have to oversell what we would call a walk.
It's true. It's true. They go for a hike, and I thought our hikes, we're talking 10 miles most of a day.
Yeah, usually for charity.
Usually for charity. So you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Whereas
wear a jolly T-shirt and go do it for charity.
Whereas their hike is not even our walk.
No. I'm just going on an expedition. You're going to the newsagent? Get some milk?
It's so true.
Yeah, because there's so little walking goes on.
Yeah.
I did that once. I was in a hotel. I was over there with work, and I was in a hotel. And everyone else went filming, and I stayed in the room to do some writing. And then I went downstairs at lunchtime to ask where I could go and get some lunch. And they went, there's some places up here. And I went, okay, so how long a walk is that? And they went, what? I went, how long a walk is it? Oh, you can't walk. And I went, well, how far is it?
Yeah.
Like half a mile. I was like, well, then I can. And will.
Yeah, quite.
What if I say, how far of a hike is it? Would that make more sense? How far of a marathon is it? Oh, okay, just a short one. Good, I'll do that.
Well, that's what I did. I came out of the hotel, and I wanted some food, And I looked on my phone and it said, oh, there's like a Mediterranean takeaway place down the road, 0.9 miles. Oh, great. I can't be asked to get the car out of the car park.
Yeah.
And I certainly didn't valet park. That's another conversation in a minute. But
I thought you said Valerie Park.
no, not Valerie Park. No.
Hi, I'm Valerie Park.
Hi, I'm Valerie Park.
Take care of your car.
But so it said, oh yeah, you can walk this. It'll, it's 0.9 miles. Yeah, perfect. So I start following your phone. Well, the pavement ends, for one thing, as I pointed out before. But then I'm following it, and it goes, oh, you can just go down here on this piece of grass. And before I knew it, I realised I've walked into someone's backyard of their actual house, and I'm stood by their back door. There's Amazon parcels on the floor. I just look like I'm like looking around, looking to nick a few boxes and stuff. And then I don't know how to get out, because I've been looking at my phone. And there's just loads of that sort of like trellis-type fencing, and I'm just going around the perimeter of their property, trying to work out how to get out. And then I get out, and then it goes, oh no, actually I meant round the other way. So I went round the other way, and then I go into a trading estate that's massive, and there's no way out. So I go around the whole trading estate, and there's no way to get out apart from the way I came in. It's just totally pointless.
So did do a
It took me
charity
45
hike.
minutes to walk. I was trespassing most of the way to get to my ticket. I was fucking furious by the time I got there.
Because nobody's put up person-proof fencing, because who would be on foot?
Quite.
Nobody. Anti-car bollards probably all over the place, but
It was just exceedingly difficult. So I did do that, but what I did see, apart from the lack of lifting, is I noticed a couple of Cobra heads parked up. I was looking in through parked car windows, like a thief would,
yeah.
but just an innocent guy from another country, and I noticed a huge quantity of Cobra heads.
In like 80s and 90s
Toyotas. There was a lot of Toyota Cobra heads. Massive things.
Interesting,
Massive.
yeah.
Maybe that on the top of a stick.
Yeah, but sort of sculpted.
Huge.
So it's
But obviously, like
got
a King
hood.
Cobra.
Yeah.
Imagine a grey plastic King Cobra.
I used to do this when I lived in London, and just walking down the street, there's just rows and rows of cars parked. I used to play a game I called Manual or Automatic.
Oh, that's a fun game. Shit.
I'm sure we all play it, but let me talk you through the rules just in case. Where I just try and guess if the next car was manual or automatic.
Really?
Simple as that.
Wow.
So obviously, if it's like, I don't know, a Mercedes S-Class, pretty simple. It's going to be automatic, probably.
Yeah.
It's a recent one. And if it's...
Unless the person knew you were playing the game. And they've 3D
they've
printed
manual swapped their
wands
S500 just to fuck with me.
just to sleeve it over the auto.
Sleeve it over?
They've sleeved it.
Might be a good way to make your car less prone to thievery.
What, a 3D printed sleeve?
Yes. So that they just
not
go,
gonna do
we don't want
anything
that. It's a manual. It's a low-spec car. Someone told me that's what they used to do in South Africa when people were getting carjacked.
What?
They would like tap on your window at traffic lights with a gun, and you'd be like, oh shit, they're going to take my car. And then they would look in and they'd be checking the spec of the car.
What?
Yeah. Has it got heated seats? Oh no, we don't want it.
Really?
Well, I imagine it might be that. Sorry for the accent, by the way, but South Africa in the room. Yeah, they would be checking, like even to the extent they'd be checking the mileage and stuff like that, because they'd be trying to work out if it's a good car to be able
really
to sell on.
selective carjacking.
Really selective carjacking. Yeah, but maybe they get so far as to open the door and they go, "Oh my God, it stinks in here! What the fuck have you been doing?"
You've been road tripping with the windows up.
Yeah, but if you're,
You've had a lot of falafel.
you need to get that car turned over as a thief. You don't want to have to wet vac the interior because someone's eaten a lot of pasties in there and stuff. So I'm slightly distracted. I'm sorry. I'm a bit distracted because I'm wearing my smart shoes today. And
You
they're
are?
really heavy.
Take
It's
them
a
off.
bit weird. No,
You're in charge. Do it.
It's a bit odd, though, isn't it? Also, they're really lacy. They take ages to take off and put back on again. But I thought, when I was leaving the house, I thought I should wear smart shoes because we're going to the London Concourse.
We are.
And I realised I have this inherent fear of getting in trouble.
In trouble?
Yeah, I think it dates back to, school or something. I have this low-level fear of being in trouble, even though, as an adult, how much trouble can you be in?
Well, an enormous amount of trouble as an adult. Well, I could have turned up today to the Honourable Artillery Company with a gun. I think
They'd love that.
Do you think?
Yeah.
What, so you get checked on the way in? Have you got your Smith & Sniff ticket or the London Concourse? Yeah, I have actually.
Yeah.
Here it is. Here's my QR code thing. What's that?
That's a gun.
Oh, yeah, that's a snub-nosed revolver.
Yeah.
What, a
Good.
real one?
Nice
yeah, it's
choice.
real.
Well done, sir. Come on in.
Come on in. Come and show the lads. It's fine, they like that. Yeah.
I think if you don't bring a gun, they give you a courtesy gun.
Yes.
Forget your gun, sir. Don't worry. Here, have this.
What's this?
Just snub-nosed Mauser. Is that a gun? Jim, is that a gun?
No, it's not a gun. Not even a gun.
Fine, I'm not selling you my Range Rover for $3,000 then.
Yeah. They'd let you in with just a simple bayonet.
Oh, would they?
Yeah, I
Okay,
reckon.
any kind of weapon then, as long as it's got a military bearing.
Yeah, but nothing too sort of like Street Fighter-y, like nunchucks.
Oh, no,
Like, come
proper,
on,
no, an honourable sort of weapon.
That's so 80s, we don't use that anymore.
Nunchucks. In the British Army.
I mean, let's face it, nunchucks
Jim,
are
do the British
rubbish.
Army use nunchucks? Trebuchets.
Trebuchets. Bloody, you know
love
what?
a
You could
trebuchet.
win the London Concourse with a trebuchet, because there's some amazing big cannons out there on display, very polished.
I'm curious about this, that the people, well, actually, we've been asked to judge something tomorrow, haven't we?
Sadly, I have. Yeah, I don't know what.
Oh, you have? Have I not? Well, put my fucking smart shoes on for this.
No, you're judging cars. I'm judging guns.
Oh, I see. Well, this is what I was thinking. If the people who actually run this place are asked to judge the car show, they're going to give the prize to a gun, aren't they? 'Cause
Of course.
One of those big cannons on wheels. Well, that's nice. Nicer than that Miura over there.
There's those 4 lovely Porsche RSs out there.
Yeah.
But they're punctuated by cannons. Have you seen that?
Yes.
It's Porsche, massive cannon. Porsche, massive cannon, Porsche. So they're just going to go, what a lovely line of Porsches and cannons. It's amazing. I love the grey cannon. That's my favourite, that one there. Cannon RS as well.
Yeah.
Amazing. Is it 2.7-inch caliber rounds? Is that a thing? No. Oh, let's just not talk about ammunition anymore.
Checked as we go along.
Now, obviously, this is based in central London, and when I had to drive in today to bring some elements to this this little podcast that we do, and I noticed London really is the CSI tarpaulin capital of the UK. I saw a lot of torn tarps as I've driven in.
I think your golden hinterland for tarps is between the M25 and the North Circular.
Absolutely right.
More driveways.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes, absolutely. And there's a lot of people that have quite a large front lawn, but they clearly don't give a shit. So in real estate terms, it's a £500,000 lawn, but they still don't give a shit. So there's a thing under a tarpaulin, and I'm rubbernecking at the tarp going, I wonder what that is, I wonder if it's valuable or not. Chances are it's not valuable. It's been put under a tarp some years ago, and I actually was following sat-nav like a loser. And I took an early left. You know when it says it's counting you down 100 yards, 80 yards, and I just went, and I went, oh gosh, it was the other one.
Oh, I've turned into a post office again.
I went down a cul-de-sac, but at the end of the cul-de-sac, and Lisa can vouch for this, who's doing our merch, lovely Lisa, there was this massive, huge sort of like faux Roman pillar kind of mansion at the end of the cul-de-sac, and in the middle of the lawn that had been mown around was a tarpaulined car.
What?
Yeah. I took a photo. Got a photo.
Oh, good.
But it was obviously a Beetle. There was no mystery to this.
Oh, okay.
It was an old Beetle, and it had been tightly roped, almost like tourniquet. It was just sweating in there.
But it had been mown around.
It'd been mown around. It was on the lawn, and it had been mown. There was a drive, and there was nothing on the drive. But it was in the middle of the lawn, like a bad ornament.
But as you say, that's like that Beetle is alone is sitting on
sweating.
sort of like £500,000 worth of real estate.
Yeah, and it's dead because it would have been sweating like hell. I've noticed also the quality of the tarps are always appalling. They're never breathable. And you've got to have a breathable tarp.
What, like a...
You have to. If you're going to tarpaulin it, it's got to be breathable.
but
Otherwise, it's just marinating in there. It's like one of those polyester raincoats with
or
a sweaty
these
arm. Or these
Benetton
jackets
F1
that
blazers we're wearing,
actually.
which, trust me, are quite toasty up here.
Honestly, there's a little bit of armpit bisto in there. But yeah, don't tarp unless it's breathable. That's my amazing take home from this event. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
What else have you got?
Anyway, yeah, what else have I got? GDPR. I don't know why somebody laughed over there. I haven't even finished saying what I was going to say.
And then they talked about your right to privacy online.
Yeah, GDPR. It sounds like a trim level of a Peugeot.
Oh, it does.
Doesn't it? That was the first thing I thought. And you go, that's quite high spec, that.
Yeah.
GD
It is.
and
That's
the
got
PR.
very bungee tweed seats and the larger of the two diesel engines.
Yes, possibly with the turbo.
Yes, maybe.
It might be turbo.
Yes. And it's probably got an auto-reverse tape player.
Oh, shit. Do you remember those tape players where, I'm trying to do this for the purposes of listeners, you put the tape in widest width ways, not lengthways?
Yeah.
They were a bit French, weren't they?
Well, because some French cars, the Citroen CX,
It never quite
for
made
example,
sense. Why would you put it in that way? It just feels a bit...
But the Citroen CX had it down there by the handbrake.
They did.
So it just filled with crumbs and bits of skin and things. And
I do love a tape player full of skin. Something I really like. That reminds me of that one that I used to get. I used to get a lift to school, primary school, with the chap at the bottom of the road who had a string of CX. So I told you, it got kicked by a horse one morning. Do you know, I might have said this on an earlier podcast. Yeah, we had to slow down and go round a horse on the lanes on the way to school because I used to live in the middle of nowhere. And we slowed right down in this lovely Citroen CX, and the horse kicked the shit out of it, like back leg proper smack on the rear quarter panel, and the guy driving it, the chap, he just went, "Oh well." And there's me in the passenger seat. I was like this because it was on my side of the car. I thought it was going to come through. Oh well.
You didn't get out and remonstrate with the horse, or maybe its rider.
To be honest, I think the whole car was bent. I think we crabbed our way to school after that.
Well, so when they go, do you know with those Citroens, you can actually drive them on three wheels? Did you know you can actually drive them when they've been kicked like a banana?
By a horse? By a horse.
Wow.
Has anyone ever been kicked by a horse?
I have.
Have you?
Yeah. That's partly why I'm fearful of horses. I like all animals except horses.
Well, I like
crocodiles.
horses. They are quite
No,
scary.
they're twats though, aren't they?
Well,
They are twats. I've been bitten by a horse. I've been kicked by a horse. I'm starting to take it personally. I just don't trust them. In fact, funny enough, there's someone... What, sorry? Was it the wife?
the wife's horse.
Oh, no, my wife does not have a horse, and she will never have a horse, because I won't have him in the ass. That was in fact, funny enough, we were talking to a farmer that we know near us the other day.
Horse farmer.
Well, he's got horses, and he said to my wife, "Do you like horses? Do you ride?" And she went, "No, but I love riding. I mean, I don't have a horse, but..." And he went, "Oh, you should come over sometime. We'll all go out on the horses."
And you went, "No, you won't."
Well, yeah, because she saw me like standing at the worktop, like gripping it, going, and she's went, "Oh, Richard doesn't like horses." Fucking bastard.
I didn't realise you were so fearful of these things.
No, I don't. I really don't like them. I don't trust them. So anyway, what was I going to say? I can't remember. Oh, Citroen CXs.
Yeah.
See, I had a mate at school who had a Citroen CX.
Lovely car.
Andrew Marr.
Andrew Marr?
His dad, Duncan, had a Citroen CX.
Yeah.
Duncan Marr he was like the UK importer for Franca Kitchens, you know, the fancy kitchen people. He once tried to convince his son Andrew that they were going to introduce a new slogan, which was for the kitchens, which was going to be "Don't be a wanker, insist on Franca."
No.
Turned out that wasn't true. But Andrew Marr said it was.
Now, some important neighbourhood watch news of mine, which might not be of interest to anybody else, but I thought I'd write it down anyway. Weather's warming up, right? Some might say summer's here. At the top of my road, there's an old couple who have an immaculate house and garden, constantly tweaking it. It's mint. The other morning, I was on my way to work. I saw the guy up a very long ladder. His wife was stood at the bottom of the ladder, actually one hand on the hip, and the other hand was pointing at possibly the way she wanted it doing and how quickly. And he was scrubbing the fascia boards of their house and then polishing them. But the reason why I'm saying this to you, the house is mint and the garden is mint, but they don't ever go on the garden unless they're mowing it. They're garden use avoiders.
Oh.
And the reason why I'm saying this is because the other morning it was really warm straight away. And as I went to work, I noticed the garage door was up. I've got a car on the drive, and it's a very short drive. And they were both in the garage on deck chairs drinking tea with the car. The car's like there. So they can't see anything apart from the front of their, like, whatever it is, Qashqai. But it's got a lovely garden to the left of the house, and they won't use it.
But maybe
it's sitting in the garage.
But do they just like looking at things that they own? So they like looking at the garden, but not going.
They can't
in.
really see the garden because the garage.
No, but they're in the garage because they were looking at the car. Isn't it
Maybe.
nice?
I just don't understand. And I thought this is a one-off. I thought maybe they've been working all night rearranging the paint in the garage or something. Well, I don't know what they do.
We've been up all night, indexing all of the old
They're
paints.
those people. But a couple of days later, again, another warm morning, and they were in the garage again, on the deck chairs, reading and drinking tea.
But maybe it's cool in the garage.
But it wasn't that warm.
Oh.
No, we don't live in Australia.
Well, not for you, but they've probably lived through.
I think they're too scared to actually use the garden. The garden's to be looked at.
Well,
and
they might
not
mess it
touched.
up.
Yeah, I think they're those people.
There's some people that when I was growing up, there were some people who had their dining room redone, and then they famously said, "Oh, it's so nice, we just keep going into it." But they didn't actually use it to eat in. They just used to go in and look at how nice it was, and then go back out again. It was too nice to use.
Too nice.
That's the problem, isn't it? Too nice to use.
It's like best china. Older generations where always had best china that you never actually use at all.
Did you have when you were
growing up? And then it all gets put in a skip when they pass away. Tell me I'm wrong.
It's true. Well, that's because it's actually worthless because nobody wants it.
No, it's Spec D china. That's what it is.
Spec D China.
It's Spec D
Did
China.
you have, when you were growing up, were there people, older couples on your road that you only ever called Mr. and Mrs. something?
Yes.
Like their first names are a mystery.
Yeah,
they would be on, teachers generally, when you were at school, certainly in our day, teachers' first names were locked in a vault.
Yeah.
If you found out a teacher's first name, it was like you'd been given a secret code to something.
It's true.
You would go running around telling everyone, "Did you know it's Carol?"
It's true, that is true.
And sometimes on the sign at the front of a primary school, it would say, "Headmistress, Mrs. J. Wilson." You'd be like, J? What
Janice.
would it be? Janet, Jane, June, Jalopnik,
Exactly.
which was my primary school. I don't know. But we had people across the road from us, Mr. and Mrs. Jones,
Yeah.
first names.
What a mystery.
Complete mystery.
You know, they were
It was never said. They weren't that much older than my parents, but they were just Mr. and Mrs. Jones. And it's only recently I've suddenly thought, that was weird.
Yeah.
It was only as an adult I found out the guy was called Bob. So it wasn't like a sort of state secret.
I used to mow a lawn for a lady, well, quite a few ladies actually. It was my. It's not that funny. I mean, it's not. I'm not a gigolo. I was 12, and so this was my first job, mowing lawns for a lot of retired people in our area, and it was good. It was quite well paid for the time. And one time I knocked on the door. I used to go around there, knock on the door, and if there was nobody there, usually there was an agreement. You carry on anyway. You do the front and back lawn. So I was doing.
So you were allowed down their side passage.
Yes, I was, and I could. If I was fairly tall, so I used to be able to unlock the back door if I needed to.
Ah, the old reach.
So,
the old reach around. Good.
I used to reach.
Yes.
And slide open the bolt. Anyway, so I'd done the front lawn. No response from the house. Clearly they're out. Went to the back garden, and I was 3/4 away through. I don't know why that's funny. Went through.
No, it's very far back. There's a delay.
I was 3/4. This is quite a walled private back garden. Done 3/4 of the back garden. I was absolutely bursting for a waz. Absolutely bursting, and it was too far to walk home. And I thought, well, they're not in.
Oh.
They're not in. So I just went into the corner where there was like a very low kind of pear tree or something. And luckily, in hindsight, I had the grass box next to me because I'd taken it off because I knew the grass box was full. And I was absolutely winging as quickly as possible, just sort of checking. And then I heard the patio door open. But I was looking away. I was looking away from the house. I had the patio door open, and the lady, I won't tell her name, although she is dead now, Mrs. Orland. And she went, "Oh, hi, Jonathan. Sorry, I've just been on a phone call." I'm like, "Yeah, hi. How you doing?" I quickly went for the grass box. And she went, "Is everything all right? Do you need a drink or anything?" I went, No. I was really thirsty as well. It was annoying because I was really thirsty. My one shot at a drink. And she went, "Yeah, okay. long silence. I was still pissing. Long silence, and I was trying to look back, but it was just too far. I couldn't. My neck couldn't reach. She went, "Okay, well, I'll just leave you to get on then." She was old, so I was hoping her eyesight wasn't great. But still to this day, I don't know. And then I went, yeah, and I sort of bent over to try and pick up the grass box. I was just going to empty the grass box and something like that, and I was still winging. Because I couldn't stop. Just fully committed at that point. It was a summer day,
You were a young man. Could you not have paused things?
There's no way I could have paused. Absolutely.
I know you couldn't now because...
No.
I know, I couldn't now.
Not a chance.
For your Herculean feet.
No, so... why did
and
I
this is
say
why we're
this?
Britain's number one car podcast.
Yeah, so why...
Of our prostate chat.
Don't know why I said that. There was a reason why I started chatting. Oh, people that we didn't know their first names.
Oh, yeah.
And I still don't know her first name. Mrs. Orland.
Oh, yeah.
That was it.
Well, no, you probably never... Well, you won't.
But she used to always pay well.
Ah. Well...
Again, I don't know why that's funny. Now, I've written down here, and this could be a good topic of chat. It doesn't involve weeing or lawn mowing. It involves cars, actually, funny enough.
What?
Yes, I know. Shit off.
Well...
I've written...
We'll give it a try.
Yes, I know. No commitment. I've written cars with druggy names.
Druggy names?
Druggy names. And I thought of this the other day, and I thought, imagine if cars had slightly druggy names, like the Honda Quaalude instead of the Prelude, and the Triumph Heroine instead of the Herald, the Ford Ecstasy instead of the Escort. And then I was like, I bet there's some JDM stuff out there that we don't know about.
Well, there probably is.
They've got druggy names. Like Daihatsu Meow Meow. Is that still a drug? Is that still a drug? I'm not up on my drugs.
I was going to say, I don't know enough street
Is Meow
slang
Meow
for
still a
drugs.
thing? It is.
What do you think I'm on now,
Somebody
suckers?
over there. I genuinely don't know what Meow Meow is. I just know it's a drug.
Is it pseudoephedrine or something like that?
It's a what, sorry?
I can't remember. There's a proper name for it. That's one of those. I was thinking about this the other day. There's certain words that are only ever attached to another word, and one of them is paraphernalia.
I love paraphernalia.
No one says paraphernalia except with drug in front of it.
It is, isn't
and
it?
it's usually police people.
Actually,
or
no,
musicals.
Nazi as well.
Oh, Nazi. Yeah.
It's true, though, isn't it? No, it's either memorabilia or paraphernalia.
It's memorabilia, isn't it? Because there was that time. A friend of mine was working on a TV show, like a drama show, and there were long days on set in a courtroom set, and there was lots of waiting around, as there always is. And they were just amongst the crew, they were trying to do this thing where they'd invent a plausible rumor about a celebrity, and then try and pass it around the set and see if it came back to them.
What?
Yeah. And the best one they came up with, I thought, was, did you know Annika Rice owns Britain's 4th largest collection of Nazi memorabilia?
Seriously?
And the genius of that, I think, is 4th largest.
4th.
Because if he said largest, you'd go, no, she doesn't.
No.
Even second, you'd go, I'm not sure about that. 4th largest, though, you'd go, no, I'm going to buy that. It's not true, by the way. I'm going to make it absolutely clear that is not true. But it was the best rumour they tried to spread around.
But who measures the Nazi memorabilia?
I don't think you'd go on Antiques Roadshow and ask Fiona Bruce. Did someone say something over
That's
there?
what it should be. It's where the Antiques Roadshow just goes fully like, right, come on, everyone, show us your shit.
Come on, we've all
Right.
got some.
You,
Bring it round.
You, Nazi memorabilia guy, come up. What have you got? And he backs up a transit tipper. Boop, boop, boop. Check all of this evil shit out.
So that is memorabilia. But I think memorabilia can have a positive connotation, because you sometimes hear people say motoring memorabilia.
No, there's a word for that, automobilia.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, it's a portmanteau.
It's a what?
It's a portmanteau.
That's a racetrack, isn't it?
Yes, in Portugal, yeah. No, it's like a corrugated cover over your car if you haven't got a proper carriage. No, portmanteau, 2 words smushed together to make a new word.
Ah.
But you would still say motoring memorabilia.
Motoring
I
memorabilia.
wonder if they're selling some here.
I bet there's some amazing automobilia here.
Yeah.
Those highly polished old fuel pumps.
Oh, yeah. That's
Beautiful.
motoring memorabilia.
I mean, you just don't know what you're going to do with it. You're under the influence, and the day is nice and sunny. It happens all the time. You see it at Goodwood Revival and these sorts of places, and you think, what a beautiful thing.
But it's also, if there's a bar and you have the opportunity to use the bar, then,
Yeah.
I mean, I've come very and dangerously close to buying some awful jackets at Goodwood and Le Mans.
Yeah.
Le Mans particularly, bloody hell, which is this weekend, isn't it? Le Mans coming up.
Yeah.
Is anyone going to Le Mans? Yes.
At the back. I wish I was.
I kind of wish I was now.
Yeah, I think I'm going to a bouncy castle party. Which doesn't last 24 hours. Imagine that shit.
Oh.
Wow, imagine the head wounds.
Yes. A lot of skull to skull.
I got uppercutted once on a bouncy castle. I was fully pissed. And we were bouncing out of sync. I was bouncing with another adult. There were no kids on the bouncy castle for some reason. And I went down as she went up, bouncy castle. And it's just, I'm not being mucky. I'm on a bouncy castle. There were kids in the garden as well. And a very sharp ring and a fist came into contact. On a finger ring. I just came into contact with my eye socket. And
You're listening to Sniff and Julian Clary.
And anyway, massive contact, and the next morning I had a huge black eye, and I had to film something for Fifth Gear. and I just looked like I'd been in a terrible bar fight. And I had to say, what on earth happened? I just go, well, I got punched by a woman on a bouncy castle. And they didn't believe it. They went, no, you fell down the stairs, didn't you? I went, no, I got punched by a woman with a sharp ring on a bouncy castle. That's what happened. That is what happened. Anyway, go on. Work down your list. Yeah, I've written George Clark's fantastic parking spaces here.
There's loads of room front and back. The markings are plenty wide enough for even.
I've just written euphoric response to finding a space outside the post office to deliver a huge parcel in his Discovery 5. And I think what I mean is, when you're looking for a parking space in a congested area, let's say central London, but you manage to just find a space that isn't congestion, like a permit parking only, and it's in the right spot at the right time. Well, I always miss those. I always see them just as I've gone past.
Yes.
And then I realise I'm in a one-way system, like it is outside this building, actually, and it takes approximately 12 minutes to get back to where you were.
But do you not have, because I have this, and it drives my wife nuts, I have parking indecision. You go into a big, say, sort of motorway service area car park, and there's lots of spaces, but no obvious one. And you'll drive past a few, because you're thinking, it's nice, but there might be a better one.
I've never referred to a parking space as nice. That's a nice.
Sometimes parking spaces are nice. You go, this is good, but there might be a slightly more luxurious one just up the road. I'm going to keep looking, and then you end up. You kind of it's stick or twist, isn't it?
I like a tight challenge, parking space. No, seriously, no. I like a really tight parking space challenge where you do that thing where you obviously drive up next to it. If you're bored and stupid, you press the button on your car which tells you whether your car can fit, and it'll park itself. I don't do that because it's shit. So I look at the space and I go, yes, I can do that. And of course, then a car comes up behind you, so you're feeling the pressure immediately. This will go into this space. This has to. No Parisian bumper smashing because we're in Britain, we're civilised. So you have to go in. But you've got to get it so right and quickly. Yeah. Especially in London, because no one's
it's a high
got
pressure
time for you.
Yeah.
You got 20 seconds.
It's almost like, I always think parallel parking in London is like flipping an omelette or flipping a pancake.
Yeah.
It's a one-shot deal.
Yeah.
You fuck it up, everyone remembers that.
Yeah, they do. You get fingers, you get pointing, you get window down shouting.
But you do it well. You can practically hear people going, ooh.
I didn't think he was going to get that in there.
And he did.
Or she did. Anyone else relate? Is it just us two on the stage?
Anyone else wishing they were still out on the lawn looking at some lovely old Porsches? Fair enough. We were saying we wanted to mix it up here, didn't we? We thought there should be just a little sort of wild cards out there. Has everyone had a look round out there, by the way?
We haven't.
We haven't. We're imagining what it's
Sadly,
like.
we're going to look tomorrow. We will look tomorrow
Got
morning.
all day tomorrow. But I thought...
there needs to be a disruptor
that's what it is, disruptor.
area of the event. So we were what were we saying earlier? We're saying someone that displays their cards here regularly, so that they phone up, they mention their name, they know, oh, this person's going to bring some cool stuff, some rarities, but they play a wild card. Previously 250 GTO, yeah, we've brought that along before. Some rebodied Zagato thing that no one else has got.
It's got it.
That's cool.
Got through
and then they just say, oh, so and so's on the phone. He wants to bring a what?
Honda Insights, yes. We were thinking a bit further back. We're just thinking, what if there's just a really, really tidy Talbot Alpine next to a couple of Bugattis, just to mix it up, because everybody would take a picture of the Alpine and put it on social media.
But he springs
hashtag
it.
London Concourse.
This person springs it upon the show. He says, they go, well, sounds great. What are you going to bring? You wait. You just wait. I'm just sealing the deal. It's being flown over from Switzerland. Oh, shit, okay. Sounds like this is going to be hot. Okay. Yeah, you wait. And then this person just rocks up, and it even comes in on the transporter, but with a silken sheet over it.
Yeah, oh yeah.
A posh answer to the CSI tarpaulin,
Yes,
you could say.
the silken sheet.
The silken sheet. And it obviously doesn't get trapped on the wheels as it reverses off the tarpaulin, because it could reveal itself by kind of
Might be quite a good
ripping
effect,
off its
actually.
own,
Yeah.
but it will get trapped in the drive shafts and
Okay,
stuff.
we'll
got to be careful.
Yeah.
And it's exactly that. A mint, possibly Spec D, example of a car that nobody cares about. Rare, but nobody cares. And it disrupts the show.
A very original, very early Vauxhall Nova Saloon.
Oh,
In brown.
non-sunroof.
Non-sunroof.
Yeah, 4-speed.
Steely's, 4-speed, it's an L.
Is it a GDPR?
As we know, those are Peugeots, possibly.
Yeah, for a specialist Italian market.
You've mentioned D-Spec again, and it's reminding me, I keep meaning to read this out. We had this fantastic email. I'm just going to check that they don't want their name reading out. No, I think we're clear.
I'm glad you did that, because I'm normally the guy that does that.
Mark Emerton. He says, hi guys, listening to the Bristol live show and the bit about D-Spec cars, I wanted to share a D-Spec story. My late nan had a Peugeot 306 1.9D, so not a GDPR, this sounds like a low-spec one.
A what, sorry? A 1.1?
It's a Peugeot 306 1.9D.
Is that for deceased?
Well, it is now, I believe, but...
You buy it when you're alive,
Yeah.
but it's actually a deceased.
She'd owned it from new in 1995. When I took it off her hands, it had 39,000 miles on it, but was already smoking, as I believe for most of its life it was left in third gear. Despite the mileage, it was covered in dents and scratches. And one day, she mentioned to me she'd take it for an MOT, but was thinking of getting rid. I asked her how many miles she did a year. She didn't know, so I looked at the MOT history and realised for the last few years it was literally only driven to the MOT garage and back.
What?
3 miles per year.
What?
So Mark says, I convinced her to give it up and explained that for the tax and insurance, she could get a taxi anywhere she needed to go.
What?
Sounds like she only needs to go to the MOT station. And that sort of, but anyway.
Hang on. Was she American and she just goes on a hike?
Yes.
She goes on a little hike once a year.
So anyway, Mark Stramau agreed to sell him the car. And he went to the garage to pick it up from its MOT and take it home. When he did, the bloke at the garage, after he worked out which car I was getting, said, hang on, are you the grandson? I said, yes. He shouted, guys, come here. The mechanics downed tools and came to the reception. The boss of the garage said, see that plant pot? We used to have 2 of those. We have to repair other customers' cars for free because she would drive into them on the way in. We used to rush out to the road and try to stop the traffic before she left, as she wouldn't look.
No way.
Are you taking this car? You really should, they said to him. She came in once, and we explained her car was nearly ready, but we were just finishing up adjusting the handbrake cable. She then got in the car and drove off.
What?
The mechanic was underneath the car on a roller.
No!
And stuck under the car, he was dragged down the high street screaming at her to stop, but she was too deaf.
Oh my
The car
God.
made it to the first traffic light before he could free himself.
Oh my gosh!
And that is how Mark came to own a 306 1.9T for the
I think that
safety
deserves
of
a round
the
of
world.
applause. Goodness me!
That.
Bloody hell!
So, Mark, thank you ever so much for that. I howled with laughter when I first read that.
I'm not sure I can. I thought
Extraordinary.
I had something that was. I thought I had a wow factor.
Well,
comment,
now,
but I don't know if I can compete with that.
shall we do some audience questions instead?
We should. Can I just mention one thing?
Oh, go on,
though?
yes.
My brother found something really unusual in a laundry basket yesterday. I kid you not. What was it?
Well, it's your brother, so it's probably, I don't know, a cylinder block.
An alive... No, it wasn't. An alive scorpion.
What?
I was in America. I got a WhatsApp video of him going, "What the fuck is this?" An alive scorpion. By the way, nobody in his family owns a scorpion, just so you know. An alive
Or
scorpion.
likes the scorpions.
Or, yeah, with no winds
But
of
he
change.
lives in Britain.
He lives in Britain. And there's an alive scorpion in his house, in his laundry basket, and he has no idea how it got there.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Stellantis.
Do you know what?
What?
That's a great idea. It came through the door, one of these free, you must test drive one of our new Abarths.
Yeah.
Here, have a free scorpion.
Isn't that...
It's alive.
I think that happened a few years ago. One of the big banks, I can't remember which one, had this marketing campaign where they sent out thousands and thousands of carrots in little cardboard boxes. The idea being carrot and stick. Here, we're going to tempt you, another bank's customer, to come and join us at our bank. They sent them out, thousands of them, just as there was a postal strike. So what thousands of customers to other banks actually received from this big bank was a rotten carrot in the post. And surprisingly, not many people switched their accounts.
Well,
But
I'm still trying to find out where the scorpion came from,
that is a mystery.
isn't it?
Fuck, man.
Can anybody compete with that?
What did
Well,
he do with the scorpion?
he phoned up, yeah, he did kill it.
Well, that's because
I got off the plane and messaged him and went, "I've got a spare vivarium at home." Of course I have.
Vivarium.
I have. I forgot to put it on Gumtree. It's something I need to put on Gumtree. And I said, "I've got a vivarium. Put it in the vivarium," because my niece loves strange reptiles and things. And I said, "She can look after it." And he went, "Too late. I've killed it."
Oh. Well, because I was on holiday in Italy years ago, and I got out the shower after a day in the pool, and there was just a scorpion on the back of the bathroom door.
Shit.
Yes. I froze in panic, and then I moved in panic very gently, very slowly opened the door, snuck into the house. Now, my wife is from Arizona. They have a lot of scorpions. And I said, "There's a scorpion on the back. What do I do?" And she went,
It's not like a rat in the kitchen.
"No."
It's more serious than that. Is it also not a reggae record?
Well, no. Maybe it should be. But she went, "I've no idea. Let's ring my dad." So we rang her dad in Arizona, because I was thinking, you can't just smash them like a spider because all the poison will fly out into your eyes or something. Well, you don't know, do you? You just don't know. And I thought there'll be some wisdom from desert people about what to do. And it's probably very complicated. You get some cloves and you sprinkle them around, and then little shavings of garlic will neutralize it. Then finally a bright light and it'll die. So she put me onto her dad, and I was like, "Arnold, what do I do to kill this scorpion?" And he went, "Hit it with a shoe." So that's what I did. So yeah, they're not as tricky as you think, the old scorpions. Certainly brought a wind of change to that guy.
Well, it's time for some audience questions. If anyone's got any questions,
Is this...
there's a hand immediately in the back.
Where?
Richard, right there.
Oh yeah, okay, hang on, I'm
Right
coming through.
there.
It's like,
Well, just before you do that,
keep talking while I'm doing this.
I
Hello,
would-
sir. What
about
is
a
your
month-
question?
What is the worst car that one of your car journalist colleagues has ever owned?
Johnny?
Oh, I know. The guy that was in the passenger seat of the Dodge Viper that I crashed many years ago now. In fact, it'll be 20 years ago next year. He bought new a Mitsubishi, is it ASX?
Oh, God.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I said.
Was it cheap?
He left the car world and started working for, I think it was a mountain bike magazine, and then just casually got in touch after about half a year and went, I bought a new car. I needed something new that was small. I bought this. And I went, what?
Why?
Did you not consult an adult first? I mean, what the bloody hell are you doing? He just went, why? Are they not great? I went, no, they're quite shit, actually. and then about a year later, he went, I've hit a Badger, the whole front smashed off. It caused thousands of pounds of damage because he went straight into a Badger.
I don't think you could do thousands of pounds worth of damage to an ASX, could you?
Well, I don't know, but it
caused pounds worth of damage.
I think what was my setting is when he realised it was a crap car and he tried to sell it after also being damaged by a Badger, it was worthless. So he had to keep it for ages.
Oh, no.
Yeah? Any other questions?
Here's a good one. Look. There's a hand gone up here, and it's contained inside an excellent jacket.
Bless you. Johnny, can we get a Miami Vice update? And while we're at it, what is your favourite telecar?
Favourite telecar? Okay, Miami Vice update. For those who haven't listened, I got into this sort of Miami Vice binge-watching saga several months ago now. I watched the episode starring Phil Collins. Did someone say yes over there?
Yes! Phil Collins.
It is.
Still get the checks for it.
Well, so I think I'm on Series 2, middle of Series 2. So I haven't got to the white Ferrari yet. We're still on the Daytona, the faux Daytona. But the Phil Collins episode is quite something. He's got some bad hair.
Is he?
Yeah, it looks like... Do you remember Premier Inns and places like that in the olden days used to have trouser presses?
Yeah.
That were attached to the wall?
Yeah.
It looks like he's lowered his own hair into... But of course only the back of the hair, because he's got a proper sort of Michael Bolton mullety camtail.
But it's not going... It's going full C4 Picasso at the front, isn't it? You know what I mean? They've got the big windscreen. He's just...
Yeah, what's that Vauxhall where the windscreen starts?
Oh, the Astra. Didn't the Astra have as an option? The slaphead option on the Astra. The Phil Collins pack.
The receding windscreen line.
Yeah.
It's that. So Phil Collins has got this unbelievable hair that just looks like a sort of pubic waterfall. And and for the whole episode, I actually forgot the narrative. I had to rewind it. Go, what's the storyline? Just too busy looking at his hair and his jacket. What's going on? So that's where I'm at with Miami Vice.
And what was favourite TV car was the other part of the question.
Favourite TV car? That's a hard one, actually.
It's too hard. I'm just going to say the
hard.
Rover 200 series from Keeping Up Appearances. Because I like to imagine it's still going.
Yeah, I don't know. Let me think.
Okay.
A couple of minutes.
Right.
Come to me.
Another question. I'm going to go over here. And I'm going to go to this lady over here.
I've got an eco question for you. What's more environmentally sustainable, my Ioniq 5 or my husband's 24-year-old Volvo V70?
Oh. Well, do you know what? It's just the wheel to well argument.
Marriage-breaking decision here at Smith & Sniff.
It's the wheel to well argument, which is actually a complicated argument. And I argue with people about it on Twitter and YouTube daily.
I think you can slice that pie either way.
Yeah.
Because it depends which stats you choose to believe.
Is it bum emissions or is it life emissions? Discuss.
Well, because there's a funny thing as well, because your Ioniq 5 has had to come from South Korea.
Yeah.
And
it's probably
cool car, a lot of the parts.
Still my favourite electric car. What a car.
There you go.
Really?
Oh, God. Unimaginable.
If Hyundai's listening to this, I still haven't bought one yet. Might pull the trigger at some point this year.
But yeah, so the Ioniq 5 had to come from South Korea, and probably various parts of it have come from other places around the world, and all been, so it's like the carbon cost there, if you're factoring that in, is going to be quite large. But then, once it's running, if you run it for 10 years...
Yeah, 10 or 12 years.
That's lots of theoretically, the car itself is not emitting CO2.
Yeah.
The electricity that's going into it may have caused, but may not, because renewables.
Exactly. So again, that's up for debate. I think it depends on. I mean, this is getting very car-y. It's
quite serious.
But I think one thing to bear in mind is if you change your car like every 2 years, it's probably not a very environmentally responsible thing to do, despite the fact that the car might be an electric car. You're buying a new thing that's had to be manufactured. I know there's lots of factories that are trying their best to be carbon neutral now, but you're still having to manufacture a thing which uses an enormous amount of energy, mining minerals, blah, blah, de blah. So I don't know the answer to that.
We're going to call this a draw, I think is the answer. But it is a good thing to keep stuff going.
Yeah, it is.
Even if it may vibrate violently and then have some smoke coming out of the back wheel arch. It's still good to keep old stuff going.
You must keep us informed about how your
I
failing Range Rover is doing.
Yes.
Really keep. Because just so you know,
ruins me.
My Honda Insight, I was driving down.
Yes.
I was driving down.
I know, and you've put no oil or water in it.
What was great?
Come on.
I was driving down to Heathrow, and both the engine light and then the whole hybrid system warning light came on. Still drives just fine. So I parked it in long stay. I thought, I don't need you for 7 days. It's fine. Shut it off. Came back to it.
For the purposes of the tape, as they say in police dramas, Lisa is bringing us a couple of beers.
What?
Someone else. Someone's buying us drinks.
Who ordered these?
Who bought us drinks?
Do you?
Don't be sorry.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you. Cheers.
Drink to that.
Has someone else got...
Get away, there's a can of... Thank you.
Again, for the tape, we've just been handed a can each of Rich Energy.
Amazing.
So that's... Oh, God, have you tried this stuff?
No, I do want them. Thank you.
It's how they...
Big Richard Energy.
Big Richard Energy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you don't have to have tried this stuff. Just go to your nearest hospital and drink whatever they're cleaning the floors with, because it's about the same taste.
Down them?
Down them?
I can't do that. I'll be dilated.
No, it's
centimeters. I can't.
Horrible stuff. I'm going to go out into the auditorium. Question. Oh, there's someone here quite nearby, and that's handy. Hi.
That's a lovely beer. Thank you for that.
Our old friend, no-name full suspension mountain bike guy.
Oh, he's become a phenomenon, hasn't he?
Has swapped a couple of tins of Castrol Super for a Euro Millions ticket, and it's his lucky day.
A Euro what?
A Euro Millions.
Euro Millions, okay, yeah. I thought you said Eurovision ticket. I was going to say, shit me, you can keep that.
He's won the jackpot, and he's at a Concourse event.
Oh, wow.
And he's in the mood to make some serious offers.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
What's he driving home with?
At this sort of an event, this event.
I think at this event, one of those cannons. That's what...
Do you know what? In all seriousness, he'll prowl around the event at hyperspeed because he's gurning. And nobody knows why. And after a couple of hours of pacing and a bit of leisurely drinking in the sun, he marches straight up to the ambulance that's over in the corner. We've all seen it. It has to be there by law.
Yeah.
It's an event. Yeah. And he goes round it, sort of sniffing a bit and just sort of touching it and prodding it, looking at all the flowers.
Does that come with it?
Yeah. Does that come with it?
It's not for sale, sir. It is now.
Yeah, how much is that? He goes, oh, no, we're at an event. It's like, I'll give you £300,000 for this now. And then they go, what? They go, phone your boss.
And he's driving home, happy as anything.
And he just peels out of the gateway. He's never even driven in London before.
Yeah.
Never even driven. Goes straight up the one-way street the wrong way.
Yeah.
He finds the public address system or whatever it's called.
Yeah, she's using the blues and twos.
He's just
for shits and giggles.
That's what he does.
And then he rings his mate and says, I don't need to live on your narrowboat anymore.
Yeah.
Because I'm sleeping on a gurney in the back of my ambulance. I think
and then he realises he's left his flip-down Motorola phone in the gents' toilets here, so he has to quickly palm it round and do an illegal and come flying back in. Yeah, that's that guy.
Yeah.
I love full suspension, no-name full suspension bike guy.
Yeah.
He's all over the world now. He's going
everywhere.
global.
Did you see one in Los Angeles? Bit hot for that,
yes.
or is it?
No, I did.
Oh.
On the seafront. On the pier. was on the pier.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because
Squeaking like
in America particularly, he's very coastal.
He's extremely coastal.
Bare feet, riding a bike. Ouch.
Was he barefoot? No, he was flip flops.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was flip flops.
I'll accept that.
And he had a vest on, like a slack muscle vest, but he wasn't muscular.
No.
It's a sort of equivalent to me wearing a muscle vest. It's just not.
It's just the vest looks like it's hung on a washing line. It's just sort of loose. Well, that's fine.
That guy.
That's, everyone has different physiques.
And I noticed,
he has the physique of someone who smokes a lot of marijuana.
And had a Bluetooth speaker bungeed to the handlebars.
Ah, good touch.
Lots of loud music being played on bicycles, I noticed in America. They don't do the headphone thing. It's not really... They're not headphone people.
No.
It's all very loud. It has to be very loud.
Things towards your head has become very unfashionable, though, hasn't it? Because I don't understand why everyone's just using their phone like that now. It's just like, it's a phone.
Yeah, like a drip tray.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Well, I think everyone's been watching The Apprentice and just gone, that looks cool. I wish I was a twat in a suit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, we can do it. No, come on, Team Strontium, let's go. Yeah, energize. Fucking idiots. So,
have you noticed how nobody on The Apprentice has got any talent? That's the one thing I've
It's funny, isn't it? Oh, right down here. Hello.
Hang on, have you got a TVR gilet on?
I do. No, wait. Ooh, right,
Bloody shit.
that's TVR Racing gilet.
Did you get given that? Did you buy it? Did you make it? I like it. It's choice.
Tell me, sir, while wearing this today, have you overheated at any point? I'm so
it's a
sorry.
sweet gilet. It's a sweet gilet. Sweet. I've never said that. I've never said it before.
Right.
Your question.
This is probably ironic given what I'm wearing, but what's been your most, your scariest moment you've ever had on the roads?
What, like a crash, for example?
Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, just listening to a horror podcast. Ah!
Well, I had full brake failure in my Dodge Charger, which I might have mentioned before. It was about 10 years ago now, and I actually was on the road, the same road that it happened, in the Dodge, about a month ago. And I had that shuddering feeling of what happened. It was quite a fast back lane, summer morning, tight right-hander, and an open gate, luckily. And I remember and what happened was actually the one of the brake hoses had actually it chafed off, and it's not a dual circuit car, so I had absolute brake failure, like no brakes, nothing. Ooh. And a big old beast on a back lane. So I did the whole where am I going? What am I going to do? I'm in third, doing about 50. And I just went straight into the field. I saw the gate. I went, proper Dukes of Hazzard. It was a stubble field, and it was massive, luckily. And I just went in there and just scrubbed all the speed off by doing a huge circuit, like a snail. I just did a huge... I just went all the way round, and all the way round, and all the way round, and then gradually came to a standstill, knocked it into neutral, and just got out of the car and went... like that. There was a massive amount of euphoria and loads of dust, and I just went, fuck, oh... Whew. And then I was like, how do I was on my way to a shoot.
Yeah. What do you do?
I had brake fluid in the boot. So
you drank a load of it and then just got a cab.
I didn't know where it was ruptured, so I lifted up the reservoir. There was nothing in it. It was as dry as a witch's teat. So I just tipped some in, put it back down, and went, I'll drive it on the handbrake.
Oh!
So I drove it about 12 miles an hour for about 5 miles, tweaking the handbrake. And the handbrake in the Dodge is a push pedal and release with the thing. So it's not a very good... So I was driving like this. Looking like a geezer, like that.
You're a terrible stage magician.
It was extremely stressful. And I arrived at the shoot really stressed out, like wanting to go home straight away. So that was probably it. And then I crashed a Dodge Viper once as well, but we won't talk about that.
Yeah.
What's the...
I had a very scary one. Brakes has reminded me of it. I was on an Evo Car of the Year in the south of France, down in Mont Ventoux. It's very switchbacky to go up that mountain.
Is that in Wales?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's actually called Mont Ventoux, There's Lovely, is the full title. And I was after lunch at the bottom of the mountain, I got into a Maserati Gran Turismo, quite a nice car, but not famed, as it turns out, for its excellent and very durable brakes. And all of the Tillerman on the Evo staff had already thrapped it down and up the mountain and down again during the morning. And nobody bothered to mention to me that the brakes were absolutely shagged. And I just set off full of vim and vinegar, because I was quite young at this point. Up this thing, first hairpin bend. I didn't left foot brake because I'm not that good, but I did, and there was nothing.
Just
nothing, and there's a sort of rock face.
Oh gosh!
And I thought, well, that's how I'm stopping.
Yeah.
And it was proper foot to the floor, and there was just enough speed, just scrubbed off to.
Oh, it's horrible. Anyone else had full brake failure before? Yeah. Oh wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Austin Metro. Well,
that's a lot of people have had full brake failure.
They had dual circuit brakes, didn't they? They had a backup.
It all came out at 50 miles an hour.
It all came out.
Yeah, it all came out.
Were you wearing really short shorts?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, we've all been there.
I had a passenger and a rabbit in the car.
What?
Approaching a roundabout far too fast. And I got
We've
out.
found someone whose life is as strange as yours, Johnny.
Yeah. And I got out and had a little lie down.
What about the rabbit?
A rabbit?
Rabbit was fine. Passenger was very allergic to rabbit and took it back to Pets at Home a few days later, not in the car. True story.
We do have to wrap this podcast up, but I feel like I have a lot of other questions about this one.
You joyrode with the rabbit?
He didn't steal the rabbit. His passenger was allergic to rabbits, and it's complicated.
Pets at Home.
We'll do one more question, and then we really should stop.
Lady at the front.
Lady at the front. Let's do.
Nice T-shirt.
Oh, nice T-shirt. Merch.
A number of years ago, my partner put a gardening business and decided he needed a car. Didn't want to commit to a van.
Nice.
Gardening. He has now. Business has gone well.
Good.
He went for a petrol Honda CR-V.
Oh. Sweet choice.
What would you have gone for?
Gardening business.
Gardening, yeah.
That well-known, huge booted machine.
Yeah, they are. They're good.
Some of them out, but yeah.
CR-V. Okay. So are we talking first gen CR-V? Second gen?
Oh wait, sorry. I'm thinking of what am I thinking of?
CRZ.
CRZ. I'm thinking of CRZ. I beg your pardon. I was thinking of that little coupe, and I was thinking you were nuts. But that's okay. Okay, that's all right. That's quite sensible, right?
So
You've got.
What would you have gone for?
For a car that behaves like a van that's not a van. Well, I mean, I've got one. I brought here. The elements. The elements. Extremely capacious. It is extremely capacious.
Yes.
I do like, especially, and I think probably no-name full suspension bike guy would like the Citroen Picasso, the Zara Picasso.
Oh.
The one that looks like.
Yeah.
It's the shape of a chode, actually, when you look at it. The silhouette of a chode. It's a very cool car, though, because it just won't die.
Do you think?
Yeah, I quite like it.
They're some of the worst driven cars on the road.
The A-pillar is just unbelievable.
Ah, no, there's a problem, because my next door neighbour's got one, and I look at it out my kitchen window all the time.
Well, have a look out the kitchen window tomorrow, and you'll think, oh, it looks like a chode.
Well, no, because we're still here. But there may be a Picasso on the lawn, we don't know.
Yes.
No, it's got that thing where the windscreen goes up and curves in, and the A-pillar diverges like an Alfa Giulia, and once you notice it, you can't stop noticing it. It's a really shitty, lazy design feature. Thanks for coming.
I think a CR-V was a wise
I'd have gone Citroen Berlingo.
Oh, yeah.
Because I just like them.
That is a van.
Well, yes, but it's a sort of like, it's like hiding medicine in dog's food.
I like it when people buy...
It's a van that's a car that's pretending to be a car.
I like it when people have, gardening businesses and then they buy, an S-Class Mercedes.
Yeah.
Saloon.
Yes.
And they leave all the seats in it.
I got a Di Tommaso Pantera cheap off eBay, and I'm going to use it for my gardening business.
What?
One of your clients gave you a C-Class estate.
Were they a bad debtor, and did you take it off them?
No, they were moving, and were like, do you want that? And I was like, yeah, all right.
Well, they just gave you a C-Class?
Yeah, it's still in the garden.
Hey.
In your garden, or their garden?
No, it's just sat in my garden.
You're not finding yourself regularly mowing round a beetle under a tarpaulin?
No, I regularly mow round my CR-V.
Oh,
you got a CR-V. So hang on, you work in the landscape sort of gardening industry, and your garden is full of cars.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
That's called a feature. A feature, Johnny. That's what it's called. Right.
Sweet.
We should probably wrap this up because I set the timer wrong, and I think we've got longer than... Yeah.
You complete stroker.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
I forgot I got a boat shoe under my chair. I'll talk about that another day.
Okay, well, we can talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
But we should stop this.
Yeah.
Before we get thrown out. Before we go, however, I have 3 things to tell you.
Oh, gosh.
They are 1, Johnny has a solo YouTube channel, which I forgot to memorise.
That's the first time you've forgotten it.
Because it's quite long. So I'm going to read off a bit of paper.
Sweet, okay.
Johnny has a solo YouTube channel in which he burns male ducks on portable cooking devices belonging to Amy Winehouse's ex-husband. As the former kitman from Ted Lasso, oven cooks food, gathers up leaves, and enjoys a Channel 4 reality show. That's right. It's the fuck me!
Listen, bide your time, get it right.
Well, I'm just going to drink some of that.
Put a little bit of this on the neck.
Don't. It stings, it burns.
No, it's good. Have a go. Have a go. Anyone else want to go? Yeah?
Right.
I'm going to have a go in a minute.
I'm going to have another go at this. Presuming anyone can remember the setup, which they probably can't.
Do you want him to go again from the top?
Oh, shall I just go again from the top?
Smash it.
Okay.
Smash it out.
Second time lucky. Johnny has a solo YouTube channel in which he burns male ducks on portable cooking devices belonging to Amy Winehouse's ex-husband, while the ex-kitman from Ted Lasso oven cooks food, gathers up leaves, and watches a Channel 4 reality show. That's right. It's called The Incinerate Drakes on Blake's Hot Plates while Nate just bakes rakes and watches first dates show.
It's ridiculous. That was ridiculous.
I know. I overstretched myself. That's the problem.
You certainly did.
It was too long to remember.
You certainly did.
Or indeed say. If that's not to your taste, there's always the Late Break Show, which is has the benefit of actually existing. Lots of excellent videos on there about cars and people who love them.
Yeah.
The second thing I've got to say is a massive thank you to the London Concourse and to the Honourable Artillery Company for hosting us.
Yeah.
A huge thank you to all of you for coming along. Frankly, we can't quite believe that.
No, it's
so
like a dream, a good one.
Come and listen to this drivel. So thank you ever so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you to Lisa, who is manning the merchandise stall out there and just generally keeps us in line and organised and just brought us some beers earlier on. So thank you, Lisa. Thank you to Luke from Influence, who has brokered this whole thing and set it up. That's it.
We love you. I'd
like to thank my... Oh, books. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, he does sell books. That's a really good, valid point.
Yes, Boring Car Trivia 1, 2 and 3. We don't have any on the merch stall, do we?
No, you don't, because you're an absolute stroker. He's so British, he doesn't want to sell the things that he tries to sell.
Frigging professional.
You're an idiot.
And the third thing I've got to tell you is we're in the City of London. Are we actually in the city? I don't really know. We are in the city. Until 1980, if you wanted to open a bank in the city, you had to do it within 10 minutes' walk of the Bank of England, on the basis that if there was a crisis, the governor would want to see you and you had to get there pronto.
Who's timing the walk?
Well, this is a curious thing because the square mile, I looked this up, the square mile is actually 1.12 square miles. Now, how fat are these bankers that they can't do that in 10 minutes? Anyway, in 1980, they dropped that rule, so now you can open a bank a bit further away, but I mean, really...
Well, like Middlesbrough.
I guess
well, you didn't say.
Yeah, it's all right. Oh, you want to walk? Fuck's sake. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's just loaded with facts, isn't he?
Well, I looked that up. I didn't know it. But that's just, it's a format point now, isn't it? Anyway, on that strange sort of meeting that broke out there, that's probably time to end this. But thank you ever so much for coming. Thank you ever so much for listening. We'll do this all again soon. Until then, goodbye.
Thank you. Forgot. Supposed to do it at the beginning, forgot. Supposed to do a bit of audience participation.
Oh.
You say transit, they say sport.
This always scares me. We did
yeah,
this
but
in
just
Bristol.
try it.
It was like being hit in the face by sound. So with a due sense of trepidation, what am I doing? Transit, and you say sport?
Yeah, that's how it works. It's like shit, Panto. Go on, do it. Do
All
it.
right. Transits!
I love that.
I wish you could be up here to feel what that feels like. It's like being a cult leader.
Yeah, Chris Martin texted us last time to say, how did that feel?
How did you do that? Because when I say, what colour is it? They all go, dunno. Fucking yellow!
Anyway, look, thank you so much for coming. And
were you not going to do one? I thought you'd...
Oh, you want me to do one?
Well, you might as well.
Do you want me to do the same one or a different one?
No, do a different one. We'll do Ford and then Transit.
Oh, fuck, yeah.
What, sorry? Stellantis. We don't have a call and response for that unless everyone wants to beatbox, but...
No, I can't do
You're welcome to.
We'll do, yeah, so I'll do Folds. They do Transit. Yeah. Folds! That's great. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
We've got to go. So...